Welcome, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and everybody. Welcome to the Contagion Effect Show, proudly sponsored by Reese Across America. Remember, Saturday's the day. They have done the transport. They have got the Reese to the cemeteries. I've talked to Mona from the San Joaquin Valley National Cemetery inside the great town of Santanella. If you don't know where it is, JD, first and foremost, thank you, sir. Appreciate you for being here. Santanella, California, we will be out there bright and early. There will be a Starbucks stop on the way there. I guarantee you that. Hey, do you guys like the second camera? Let me know. I know the light's right there, but y'all kind of got to see my red cheeks. It got super hot in here because I don't have the fan on. But check this out. Reese Across America. We're coming in. Obviously, we're in the Christmas time. The spirit of Christmas, right? Mr. Roof, what is happening? How is Universal Studios, bro? I can't wait to get on social and check it out. I've got a ton of information I need to get to you. I need to get out to you all because the Contagion Effect Show is going to be on a podcast. Okay. So check this out. We're going to be on a podcast, which I can't find the stinking link right now, but it's right over here, and I don't know why I can't find it. It's on the YouTube link, and I think it's going to bring up something different. But anyways, I will get to that in a minute because I don't know why that's not showing. That is nuts. Jarvis Johnson. Jarvis. Hey, Jarvis. There we go. Perfect right here. Thank you for your patience. Hey, you want one screen? Oh, man. I got you, bro. You're always welcome. You're always welcome, man. You know that. You know this. Yeah, we're going to be on Trying Hard to Be Appropriate. Now, these are three friends that are from the Valley of Central California. Went to school with a couple of them. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. We're going to talk about some inappropriate things. We're going to talk about some other things that are going to go down. And it's probably going to be not re-aired, sorry, but it's going to be aired around the 20th of December is what I've been told. So check that out. I'll post because I share everything for everyone, and it's kind of cool to actually be invited on to. And these yokes, these guys are what we consider underclassmen, when we were in school, but just solid dudes, solid guys, and I've been waiting for the invite from them for a while. But again, JD, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. But yeah, hey, so let's get to it because, like I said, we have a ton of stuff. You guys all know that we have Scotty Hastings coming up. We have Miller Mobile Tax Service. But for the most part, what I want to talk about is where you can find us on Tuesday nights on Truckin' Tuesday. That's right here. The Contagion Effect Show can also be heard on Reese Across America Radio on Truckin' Tuesdays at 11 p.m. Eastern. You can find Reese Across America Radio on the iHeart app, the Odyssey app, and the TuneIn app. Search the word Reese. Hey, so check it out. I have an updated, let me check. I have an updated count for Reese Across America, Reese Across America, the San Joaquin edition, and it just went dead. So I don't have an updated. I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. Please don't hold it against me. But sup, Hero Stock. Thank you for joining. Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you for joining, Mr. Hero Stock. We just talked to our guest about Nebraska, and our guest is coming from the great state of Michigan. Go Blue. Go Blue. I know that's not going to sit well with our GBRs, but it is what it is. And this has been a long time coming. I've met this gentleman online, and he's got a great story. So I'm going to stop jibber jabbering. But again, one more Reese Across America commercial, and we'll be on the move.
Remember,
honor,
gift of remembrance, sponsor a $17 Veterans Wreath for an American hero. Learn more at wreathsacrossamerica.org.
wreathsacrossamerica.org. And again, this right here, wreathsacrossamerica.org/California 0848P. That is our link. We have sold 6 wreaths, but it's kind of ironic because it wasn't live for a little bit. But next year we want that goal. I've set it at 100 wreaths. It's a $17 donation. $5 of that is going to go back to us to give to our veterans on the different podcasts that we have, the different shows that we support. What's up, Ron? How you doing? Thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Actually, I do like that uniform. I do like that Navy uniform from a couple of years ago. That was pretty dope. But yeah, Squirrel, remember, the reason why we do this is to talk to our veterans and make aware of PTSD and suicide and all the mental health aspects of what we got. If you have an issue, if you have a problem, call us. My phone number is on the site. Email, get a hold of us, man. We can work together, because I don't want to hear about your I don't want to see your obituary and hear that we lost another one, right? And we're going to be touching on some of these things because it's what we do. And again, it's straight talk. Like, we got to have the straight talk. Stop sugarcoating stuff and pushing stuff under the rug and not talking about it. So I'm not sure if that second camera is going to work because I look like an old 80-year-old man hand right there. So we may not use it. But onward we move. Let's get this thing started. Right after we talk about Miller's Mobile Tax Service, if you need a tax consultant, one of about 500 different jobs that Gary has, you got to get in touch with them now because it is booking fast. Ours is like the end of February, which I know that's only like a month in because they got to be out by the 31st. But anyways, Gary Miller, Mobile Tax Service. Check him out.
Do you dread having to do your taxes? Does the mere thought of it make your head spin? Miller's Mobile Tax Service is here for you. We will handle your individual or business taxes. We will come to you to prepare your taxes. We are skilled, professional, and ready to get started for you. Call 209-678-8515.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for your support and everything that you allow us to do, and we appreciate you. Well, folks, one of the main reasons that we do this is because we ran in. Well, not one of the main reasons. One of the main reasons we do it is because we need to. We have to have the conversation, and there are some people that you run across, and that just open your eyes and make you feel like part of the family. And Scotty Hastings took us on a ride on his interview way back at the beginning, and he shared the song with us, and he's come out with a video, and I'll tell you what, I know I have the link on it, but I'm going to get to the intro and then we're going to come back and get to our guest. But support veteran musicians, support live music, go out, like have dinner, go check people out, get out of the house. I mean, I know I'm sitting here in the room, the studio, but go out and support live music and support veteran music because there's some damn good singers. Hero Stock 2024, which again is going to be in the Omaha, Ashland, Lincoln area. More details to come, but let's get a hold of Scotty Hastings, and we'll be back in about 40 seconds with our guest.
Yeah, the times and places, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell, if you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they get home, yeah, sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the
The stories that they tell, ladies and gentlemen. It is my my godly honor and duty to introduce the 2022 Michigan Veteran of the Year, Travis Snyder. Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks for having me, Eric.
Hey, absolutely. Totally. You know, it's one of those things where I'm always amazed. You know, our calendar is pretty stretched out, but I'm always amazed when I start to do the research on our guests and see where they came from and what they're doing and the service. Because obviously, the service out, the after service is what I say. After service is what catches my eye, right? And I'm like, man, this guy's walking Michigan. Like, okay, Michigan. Like, how long is the lake? Like, dude, that's like a few miles, you know. That's like, and I started doing research. I'm like, okay, there's like 700, there's 800. I think there's like 24 different sections of walking around that you had. Like, and I'm like, holy crap! I'm not gonna let you talk on that yet, though, because Mike always said he always wants to find out where Travis came from. He always wants to know where the guest came from, and then the end point, right? The one thing that I found out by doing this is military service members don't get out and not serve. That's almost like strengthens them, right? Like they went to the military to serve their country, their fellow man, and to provide protection for us. Yet when they get out, it's the commitment to service again, right? And then there's that little transition piece. We have a friend, Jenna Carlton, right? And so we've talked about the veteran workbook. I love Jenna, love her workbook. And it's that little connection, right? And again, it's almost everyone that I've talked to. It's the service after the service.
Yeah.
And we want to get to that, but again, we want to know where Travis came from. We want to know the who, what, when, and where, and why, and then we'll get into some of your the other things that you've been doing, because there's a ton of stuff.
That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm live in Michigan. Grew up, raised here. I joined the Marine Corps a little bit later than high school. I was in boot camp when I was 20. I think I was 25 in boot camp, which it makes you like basically a senior citizen of whatever.
Yeah, right. You need help, old man?
Absolutely, yeah. So it was. I enlisted when I was 24, and I was in a season of life where I needed discipline and some direction. I felt somewhat rudderless in my life, and I know now that it was a desire to serve and be an asset to society and to of use. And I felt like, I was doing restaurant management, which I enjoyed. I miss it sometimes even. Had a lot of fun, but I knew deep down it wasn't what the rest of my life was supposed to be. And so I left kind of searching for a feeling of purpose. And so I definitely had to, when I was in boot camp, adjust to being one of the older guys in the platoon, because I could see like what the job that was of the drill instructors that I had, whereas a lot of the 17, 18-year-olds didn't quite understand and whatnot. So I kind of felt alone in that regard, but also I was grateful that I had a little bit of life experience under my belt at that point when I was in boot camp. So
yeah, so you really got to see the separation, right? Like the kids, 18, 19 coming in, and then you're like, hey, listen, man, I've already paid taxes. I've already done all this stuff. I've already probably served on the jury duty before, but like y'all understand what this is, right? Like this is the mission that we're set here for.
Right.
So
definitely.
How was that? How was that kind of the balance, right? I don't want to be your dad, but hey, listen, man, like if you don't do this, our ass is in the ringer.
Yeah, there was that aspect of it for sure. The other aspect of it too was that because of my age and experience, I was able to not take things personally when I was being screamed at or yelled at. I knew that they were just doing a job, and that whatever they said to me wasn't going to get underneath my skin. And so, which is a good thing, but also like I kind of unintentionally was under the radar for the first month and a half, 2 months of boot camp. Yeah. I did what I was told. I colored within the lines, so to speak.
Oh man! Speaking of color in the lines, look at this guy's all over the place here. What's up, Brian? Thanks for joining.
I saw that making me hungry over here.
Well, again, so we're gonna bounce some comments in and out, and we got some funny guys because I totally blew up his Facebook or his he does a Wacky Wednesday show, and I totally was maybe a couple beers in, but yeah, I was blowing him up. So I definitely gave the older guys shit in bouquet. See,
yeah.
So yeah, you're talking right to the guys.
Definitely. So yeah, there was an aspect of it too. So like for the most part, I was kind of under the radar until I got noticed, and then they're like, okay, well, we have to figure out what his buttons are and push his buttons
Yeah.
and whatnot. So I didn't get totally left out with
So they really hey man, like, because they have to test you, right? Like that's
Mhm.
they need to kind of break you down. Like that's a whole the breakdown build up thing to we want you to be our man. You're not here to be your person. Right.
Exactly
Yeah.
it. You're not there to be an individual. You're there to be broken apart and reassembled so you can be part of a unit, be part of something greater than yourself. And
So
so,
that statement right there, that is so powerful because doesn't that kind of fall in? We're going to be all over the place.
sure, yeah.
Doesn't that kind of fall into the okay, build you down, break you down, build you back up into this piece, and hey, your time's done. So go off and here's your end of duty service time, right? Like
Mhm.
that seems to be the hardest part right now, or contributes to some of the hard issues that face
Mhm.
veterans.
Right, because they don't put you back to what you were before. They don't
Yeah. Well,
disassemble
you
you.
can't. No, no. Yeah.
It's and, it's just like thank you for your service, and now
Yeah.
go be this same person you are in this world now that you were a part of
Yeah.
before. You definitely
Yeah.
see the world in through a different lens and a different scope post service than you did before you signed that dotted line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it was a good experience. I had a couple of moments in there where I kind of cracked, if I'm being honest, and I lost it, but that was their
Really.
job. Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
they had to get underneath my skin, and there was a day where they finally found my buttons and they got underneath my skin, and I cracked, but I learned from that experience and moved forward. So for me, um, boot camp was a challenge mentally and emotionally. I got my experience that I wanted out of it. But the real challenge came for me in infantry school, where um, if you haven't noticed online, I'm not a very tall guy. I'm vertically challenged, and so being in a platoon of 90 other guys who are about 6'4", 6'2", running up and down and climbing up and down mountains with a full combat load is no simple task. When I might have the endurance to do it, but to do it at their rate and at their speed it's a whole different story. And so I was doing a lot of slinky effect kind of hiking in that experience and whatnot. So
Sleep. That's great.
so the challenge comes in that, like, I was there for 2 months in infantry school, but weekends are meant to be screw around and explore, Los Angeles or San Diego and get into trouble and whatnot. But for me, because I kept falling out of these hikes, I had to spend my weekends remediating and doing them over again. I didn't get to leave base.
Mm,
So I got to the point where I had to somehow find a point where I had to tell my own body and mind, like, you might want to give up, but you can't. We got a mission to
yeah.
accomplish.
Yeah.
You got to push through it no matter what your
Yeah.
body's telling you. And so
Right.
I was able to overcome that. And that was probably my first experience with really being pushed to the point where I thought I couldn't complete the task, but I had to overcome my own self.
Um, yeah, JD, you're right, man. Boot camp in and they don't give you boot camp. And I know you're going through some things. And JD, I hope you on your mission. I hope you get to find the end that you need because I know you have a lot of issues going on. And dude, like power through, man, power through. We do a lot of interaction, and I got a bunch of different pictures here. And I just go to his Instagram because I mean, hang on. We're off the rails here. And I just want to share this one because it's an absolutely that's awesome. I mean, come on, who doesn't love the dog, right? Gotta love that.
Oh,
Please tell me.
still loading on my end, but
Oh, is it okay? Yeah,
yeah.
this is your doggy goggles have arrived.
Oh yeah.
Your dog, I go deep, man. I go deep.
Yeah.
I go deep. So,
That was my girl Harlem.
yeah, no, that's awesome. And again, we like I said, we kind of bounce all over and stuff. And so being an older, I hate to say statesman, but having that older, were there the guys like, hey man, like were there worrisome moments where just in boot camp and the transition before you guys got sent out, was that, hey dude, like what's going to happen or what's the deal? What's going on here?
I think the only time that, because for the most part, I kind of forgot that I didn't think too much about the age difference
Yeah.
all that much until every once in a while, because we were again, we're all shaved heads, stripped down to next to nothing, and
Yeah.
we're all plateaued on the same level playing field. But that day that I cracked and that I was belligerent, after the event took place, we were in line at the chow hall, and these 17-year-old kids and 18-year-old kids were telling me, like, who are you? You're an individual. You can't talk to a sergeant that way. You can't. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I did. What now?
Yeah.
It's over. It's done. Even though those drill instructors and I didn't have a formal conversation to debrief what took place, we could tell through each other's body language that there was a mutual understanding that, yeah, I fucked up. I understand I'm sorry, I messed up.
No, you're good.
I see what I get it. And we learned from it. But those on the outside, the rest of my platoon, the younger guys, didn't understand. And because because of my age, I was kind of able to, like, I guess, coach myself through that situation and get through it. But to them, it was like, well, you talked back to a sergeant and you were this, that, and the other. And I was like, it's over. It's done. You don't blow it out of proportion.
Yeah. Yeah.
These guys are here doing a job. They're not, you can't take everything with, for face value, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, they're here to do a job to get you prepared to go defend us. Again, Jason brought this up. If you like fishing, Primal Outfitters, write that down. They are a great supporter. They take out veterans, and I've seen some of their pictures, and it's pretty awesome. Some of the stuff that they got
Take note
going
of
on.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I'll try to post some links and stuff like that. So you grew up in Michigan?
I did. Yep, grew up in Michigan. So when I went to San Diego for boot camp, it was August of 2012. I was 25, and that was my first time really, I guess, living somewhere other than Michigan. And so again, like, I was 6 years older than these guys, but on the same playing field as, and it was my first real life experience being pushed out of my comfort zone, being tested and learning how to sweat and bleed for something,
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Other than that, yeah, I haven't really lived anywhere else. I've spent a few months here over in California, here and there. I've lived in different parts of Michigan, but yeah, I was born and raised here in the Mitten State.
The Mitten State. I know there's a story there, and I'm sure you know it because you're the 2022.
Well, because our state looks like a hand,
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, the Mitten. Yeah.
Again, we jump around a lot, but when I come across something, I always like to get it in because I'll be very forgetful.
Sure.
What is up, Mark Peterson? Thank you for joining the People's Patriot Project, Patriot Pride, all the way, but my man, Derek Thompson, Shadow Mark podcast, and co-host of Wacky Wednesday. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you guys for joining. Hey, if you guys have any questions, Travis Snyder, he is a traverses, almost a traverse. He traverses amongst us as a professional walker, as he says, which I think is great because we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that and the story behind there, the reason for that. Where was your first? So, what was your MOS? Oh, hi, Cam. That's my oldest. Yeah. I mean, my youngest. You want to say hi? That's Cam. I was
Hi,
like, wait a
youngest.
minute. Hi, Cam.
Hi there.
Travis.
Hi,
Hi, Travis.
Hi.
This was her studio, and so we kind of took it over.
I think it's her bedroom. Like, he took her bedroom from her.
Yeah. Good times. Yeah. No weather. No thanks weather. Not much. Yeah, I know.
Oh, Michigan.
No, Jeremy's in Henderson, Nevada.
Oh, I see. Sure.
You want to see your sticker? Got you right there, bud. Got you right there. Yeah. So yeah, you guys got me all scrolled down. So MOS. What was your MOS?
0311, just infantry rifleman. Nothing cute or fancy. I was like, when I went to enlist, it was funny because going to the Marine Corps is one of those things that I had and thought about or envisioned when I was younger, and then after high school, there was a season of like I had no idea what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, what I wanted to be, and so then the Marine Corps just never happened until I got to this point where I wouldn't say rock bottom, but to an extent, it was like, man, I need a push. I need a kick in the ass. I need to be pushing
Yeah.
in a direction. And so I was working a job somewhere, and after I clocked out of work, I went straight to the recruiter, said, "Hey, look,"
Wow.
actually, I went to the first recruiter and it was closed in town. So I drove to the next one, half an hour away, and said, "Look, I want to join the Marine Corps. I want to join the infantry. Um, I want to join the reserves so I can, still go to school and have a family and everything. But you can't change my mind," which was funny because they're not going to try to change your mind. They need
Yeah.
numbers. They've got a quota.
Yeah.
So I fell in their lap, and the whole process was very quick. But yeah, I was desperate for that push.
Fortunately, yeah. So again, Mark Peterson is part of the Reese Across America. He got a radio show. They do radio. They do everything. They do a little bit of everything. They do a Sunday night version. They are Minnesota, so I mean, we don't hold it against them too much, but good God. He's a good dude. He's got a great, I don't know what that beep was, but he's got a good supporting cast, and it's a good show. I love it because he does. Yeah, absolutely, he does. Absolutely. So he does a live music with a guest, and so they kind of coincide, and it's way cooler than what we do here. But he's got a whole supporting cast. I'm going through your Instagram, and I'm seeing some of the pictures and stuff, and it's amazing how we rely so much on social media and how your life gets exposed, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, heck, we're talking to a gentleman today, Travis Snyder, who has been on MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, and the Detroit Lions, because that's his hometown team.
Yeah, I do appreciate. I appreciate the Go Blue, by the way, earlier.
Yeah, that's going to play real quick. So I am a Michigan fan from out here. I had the Bo Schembechler How to Play Football tape. I had the Letterman. I had the white Letterman jacket that said Mitch, and then you button it up, and on the other side it said Egan. So and I had a teacher, and he's like, "What's up, Mitch?" And I'm like, never understood what the hell. I'm like, dude, what do you mean? And I happened to look down, and what was great was he was that team up in Ohio. So yeah, I'm getting blah 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 blah. Different venues. I think Contagion Effect rules. I mean, from Thursday nights from 6 to about 7:30 or so. I think we rule. At least this airway. I know my reason, Mark. I know my reason, Mark, that I get to do this because that's their tagline is we know why we do this because we get to talk to our veterans. So you go off, you see some battle, right? I mean, you guys did a Turkut? Did I say it right? I didn't say it right, did I? Turkey. Where was your first deployment?
Afghanistan.
Okay. Yeah, I know I have it written down, but it was in the wrong order.
Yeah, and that's all good. Yeah. So after infantry school, I checked into my unit in March of 2013. As a reservist, again, the idea going to reserves is like, well, I'm in my mid-20s. I'm too old to go active, which was a stupid thought because, hindsight, I was like, I could have gone active. But at the time, I was looking forward to probably getting married, settling down, going back to school, and I wanted to be able to do all that along with serve.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget in the summer of 2015, we got one of the most demotivating speeches I've ever heard in my life. When we were told basically, hey, if you had your hopes up for deployment, don't get your hopes up because you're probably not going to deploy as reservists, which didn't make sense. Like, why would you tell us that and expect us to still train? Which we still did our work and everything, but it was just an interesting situation. And then just lo and behold, 2 years later, we were blessed with an opportunity to go practice what we trained to do. And so when I got that phone call at 5 a.m. from my team leader, he calls me up and he says, "Hey, you guys are going to Afghanistan. I'm getting out in July, so I'll talk to you later," and just hangs up.
No way. Wow.
And so
He's
I
like,
will
deuces.
basically, yeah, and his contract is up, and he could have re-upped if he really wanted to, but he didn't. So we, sure enough, we got the word that we were going to Afghanistan. We didn't know exactly what our mission was going to be or what it looked like for us, but we got there in October of 2017, did 8 months, and our objective was to train, advise, and assist the Afghan army and our police forces in their efforts against the Taliban forces.
Mm,
So we were more or less training them how to fend for themselves. So for the most part, through much of the, global war on terror, we were doing a lot of the frontline, the patrolling and clearing out urban areas, houses, buildings, etc. But now we were in a position where we were trying to train them to do it themselves and to kind of be able to fend for themselves and give them the tools and the resources to do so. And it's kind of like the give a man a fish or teach a man a fish kind of virtue, where
yeah.
you can give a man a fish and do the work for him, or you can teach him how to fish
Yeah.
himself so he can, fend for himself.
Right.
And so, but yeah, we came back home in May of 2018, made it home in one piece, didn't lose anybody, and made some good memories over there. I know some guys that would go back there in a heartbeat if we could. And in my case, it was time for me to check out in June of 2018 and move on. So I do miss it, and I would go back for maybe the right opportunity. But I was also happy to look forward to a new season of life and trying to figure out a new pathway, so to speak.
Yeah. It's that whole chapter, right? Like turn the chapter, move, being a reservist. So you train and you guys got called up. We had a guest on and there was a conversation said, and I wish I had a better memory. I believe he had said something along the lines of bullets don't know who a reservist is and who I don't even know how to explain it, but
Active duty.
active. Yeah. I'm like, it doesn't decipher who is who. Right.
Yeah.
And for someone to sign on that line and to go serve and go over there and deal with that stuff. I hate saying stuff, but going through what you guys went through there, we appreciate everything that our servicemen and women do. And no matter what capacity it is, obviously we have some Air Force people on. I mean, let's be real. It's, and it gets to the point, everyone banters back and forth. Never make. I'll make fun of the Marines once in a great while, but I don't. I don't do it because I didn't serve and I don't feel appropriate doing that. I'll make a joke once in a while, just with Brian and the podcast crew,
Sure.
because they could probably kick my ass. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm a big guy, but they could probably kick my ass. There's one thing that amazes me when you go through that, you come back. What did you have that thought of what was next, or did you plan ahead and kind of put things in perspective?
Yeah, it's funny because like throughout the deployment, we were doing a job and we were working, but also, man, there was a lot of time to just sit and think and be in your thoughts. You're kind of just sitting and waiting for nothing to happen. And so for 8 months, you'd think you have this time to prepare. And each guy's story is different. Some guys already had the same job waiting for them when they came home. It was going back to school or maybe going active. A lot of different situations, and the challenges are different for each guy too. Because like for some guys, it's you come back home from deployment and you have to get reacquainted with your spouse and your children who haven't seen you in a year.
Appreciate it.
In some cases, you have guys who were counting on a particular opportunity, maybe professionally or in terms of career, that kind of moved on after they left. In my case, I didn't have a plan when I came home. I just figured I knew that I wanted to go to school again, use that GI Bill.
Yeah.
And then as far as work goes, like I did not want to go back to restaurant management, but it's what I knew best and it was what I was best trained for. So I moved up to Northern Michigan for a girl. Typical military story. And within 9 months to about a year, it didn't work out. And and bless her wherever she is. It just didn't work out. It was a civil breakup and whatnot. And then the job that I was working in, Manistee at the time, the town I was working in, also didn't quite work out the way I'd hoped either. There was a unfortunate situation there where basically somebody made up a lie and I was let go. And with things not working out, I knew I was going to move back to my hometown in Holland, about 2 hours south. And before I actually backtrack a little bit, that first year I experienced a couple panic attacks. And I hadn't had panic attacks since I was maybe a year or two out of high school, when I was trying to figure out where I was going to go with my life. Deep down, I was stressing out and depressed and had anxiety and all these things because I was like, I know deep down I'm not happy with where my life's at and the fact that I'm not really going anywhere, but I also don't know how to move and which way to go or what to do. And I think that first year after the deployment, I wanted to tell myself, well, I'm fine. We as far as like combat goes, like I said, again, we came home in one piece. We didn't have any firefights. We didn't have any, our close calls for the most part. We took mortar rounds. We took and stuff like that, but we didn't lose anybody. The units that were there before us had much more challenging experiences than what we had.
Yeah.
And that's not to diminish our service there or diminish the work we did. It's just that when I came home, I thought to myself, well, I didn't lose any of my friends in Afghanistan. Right. I shouldn't be stressed out or anything. But the stress that I did have that was underlying that I didn't really understand was that, okay, well, what's next? How do I still serve? And how do I still, feel like I'm doing this awesome thing that I just did and feel like I'm contributing to society? So I guess I was feeling more pressure than I realized. And I had a few panic attacks. And that's when your body's like reacting to something that your mind tried to suppress, but your body knows better and reacts differently.
Yeah. And again, it's that thing of, you guys didn't take any, you guys had no casualties. You guys didn't have the big dance in the theater, which that's literally how it was explained to me one day.
Yeah.
There was none of that. But again, it's you're not home. You are in harm's way, because no matter if, another story, a guy's telling me that, like, we knew they were shooting at us, but they never could hit us. Right. He goes, and then one day it was just a weird feeling. He goes, the sound was different. Well, because they were kind of closing in, right? They were just the way that they were launching. And again, you come home, you go through all that, and it's that adrenaline, right? I get the stories of the adrenaline rush. Like, how do you reach that high, right? Like, you're going through the same thing that everyone else is. Your time there, you didn't see action, right? So how do you facilitate your body to pump that up again?
Yeah, there's definitely that part of it. There are things that I dealt with too, like the first few months to 3 to 6 months. Once I got home, what I couldn't deal with bit large groups. I remember getting anxiety in crowded spaces, like overcrowded clubs, bars, stuff like that. Watching everybody else like have a great time was great, and I love people, I love groups, and I love seeing people, live their life. But I found myself reacting in a way I hadn't reacted before when I was in a crowded bar or club and whatnot. And the other thing too is, like, your head's on a swivel for the whole 8 months.
Yeah.
Every day you wake up, you're like, oh, this could be it. Anything could happen today. This could be it. Once you come home, it's like you still have your head on a swivel, but you realize the baselines are different too. So again, it's just making adjustments and trying to figure out how to make those adjustments without the training to do so.
Yeah.
It's a hurdle that you encounter once you come back home.
So you make friends, a lot of the crew that you went with, you got out in 2018, right? 2019 comes around. This is where we're in a kind of transition. So what was the relationship that you had with Sergeant Hughes? What was that like?
Sergeant Hughes, yeah.
Take me back before. Give me the prelude.
Yeah, definitely. Prelude. So Sergeant Hughes. So our reserve unit, we were based in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we had attachments from other companies within our battalion, from Lansing, Michigan, and one from Terre Haute. And Sergeant Hughes came to us halfway through our pre-deployment training in North Carolina. He came to us from Oregon. And
Oh.
so when he came to us, he didn't know anybody in the unit, but here he was, a mortarman, a sergeant, and he was given his tasks and his platoon that he was with. And we were suite mates in North Carolina for a period of time and had some good conversations. And I got to know the guy. We weren't best friends, and we weren't in the same platoon, but we had the opportunity to share a little bit with each other and learn about each other a little bit. But I could tell you that the guy who, knew his job very well, took care of his Marines, was on his A game, and we were very lucky to have him as part of our company. And I can't think of a single person that didn't like him. How could you not? Our nickname for him was Big Bird because he was very tall, lanky, and just had that kind of presence about him. And so in April of 2019, when we lost him to suicide, it was just a huge shock. And I can't speak for the guys that were closest to him. But for the rest of us in the company, it was a huge shock because he was so loved and adored, and not just as a Marine, but as a human being. And so it was a moment for all of us in the company to actually check in on each other, have some conversations, because we had only been home for a year at that point, and make sure there was nobody else that was struggling in the same way, to ensure that we didn't lose anybody else. And so that was April of 2019. And then come June, I was encountering my own season again, where I was kind of finding myself at square one. Things hadn't quite worked out. Oddly, I was in a better shape mentally and emotionally than I was when I came home from the deployment, but things hadn't quite worked out. And so I found myself, with an abundance of faith, just saying, you know what, it's fine. Whatever is meant to be will take place. I'll be okay, through this little experience. So in what was it? Early August of that summer, I took the summer off, and I was preparing to move back to Holland. Knew I wanted to go to school, find work again, kind of start all over again. But I wasn't tied to anything, so I thought to myself, well, I could maybe pull off a trip or two and do some traveling before I move back. Maybe sell my Jeep, throw the cash in the bank. This is a different Jeep, not the one I was just going to
we had a little pre-interview before the show, and unfortunately, yes, I swiped by an old man.
Yeah. So
the Jeep's going to be a little out of commission for a minute.
Right. That was Jeep number 2.
Ah.
Actually, no, this was Jeep number 3. So Jeep number 2, Jeep number 2 in 2019, I told myself, I could just sell the Jeep, throw the cash in the bank, buy something else cheaper just to get by, and then I'll go take the cash and go travel for a little bit. Yeah. So I was thinking to myself what I could do. I was hiking around northern Michigan, and being the smartest that I am, I thought to myself, I can go backpack around the UP or Upper Peninsula, for those of you not from the area.
Suckers, learn your stuff.
Backpack around the Upper Peninsula and go hit up all my favorite spots in northern Michigan. And then thinking to myself, I kept thinking, I'm like, well, why don't you just backpack across the Upper Peninsula? And then took a step further, and I thought, well, why don't you just backpack around Lake Michigan? And I was being a total smart aleck with myself, but then the light bulb kind of went off, and I'm like, God, what? Wait, why not? Is that possible? Could that be done? And so, sure enough, I was excited, and I'm not sure if you or any listeners today have ever been in that position where something hits your heart so hard that you just know it's meant to be.
Yeah.
You got to tap into that well. You got to look into it, do some research. You have to listen to that little voice. And so that voice was loud. It was never a moment of, is it possible? Should I? Can I? It was like, no, can I do this? Let's see if I can, what I need to do. So I went home, did some loose planning with Google Maps and just looked at, where can I find some spots to stay around the lake.
Did this help you at all? Did this help out at all?
Oh, it sure did. Yeah.
That is crazy.
This was made about a year ago at Grand Valley State by a student. I love this graphic. I've used it a few times since, but so Manistee is right there on the top, and that's where I was living at the time. And so August 26th, I packed up my bag. I told a few friends and I told my parents what I was doing. Didn't tell a whole lot of people. I kind of just made a Facebook page and thought to myself, if 5 or 10 people pay attention and want to follow along and hopefully be impacted in a positive way through this, then
Yeah.
mission accomplished, And I took off from Manistee on August 26th and went counterclockwise north around Lake Michigan and I gave myself whatever time I needed to do it. I had my backpacking gear. I was just going to rough it every night and take as long as I needed to get around the whole lake. And I kind of just ran on faith and took off. And sure enough, went north. The only goal that I had, if you want to scroll a bit higher, Mackinac City right there at the very top of the Lower Peninsula is where the Mackinac Bridge is. And the only day you can walk across the Mackinac Bridge is Labor Day. That is the
Really?
only day of the whole year you can
Oh,
walk
wow.
the bridge. And so sure enough, I made it to Mackinac City for Manistee in 8 days.
Wow.
No, it
So
was a week. Made it there in a week. And that way I could walk across with everybody else and then keep heading west in the Upper Peninsula.
So by the time you got up here, well, I mean, by the time you started going
Mhm.
in your Facebook page, you posted a bunch of things. Hey, this is what's going on.
Mhm.
When did the traction really start to kind of like,
Oof.
whoa, like people are watching this, people are interested?
I think it's funny because like local news picked up on it right before I left. And so that very first day, even there were people in their front yard that were waiting for me to come say hi and share their story.
Wow.
And I was so blessed by that. It was so cool. When I got to Traverse City, and so that map though, that route is in particular is from the 900-mile walk from last year. It's a little bit different walk or a little bit route, I should say. And so the reason I was able to cut to the Mackinac City so quickly was because that little pinky of the Lower Peninsula, I cut across from basically from Manistee to Traverse City, diagonal. Cut across that way
Okay.
in 2 days.
Wow.
So that was about a little, just around 60 miles or
So you
so.
cut from here over, you didn't go up.
Mhm.
This was obviously this map here is
Yeah,
wow.
that's from last year's route. Yep.
Wow.
And then from Traverse City kept following that same little path to the bridge.
Yeah.
Um, that was my main goal that first trip, and then to keep heading west along the Upper Peninsula and then down to Wisconsin. So, made it to across the bridge, got to the UP. I had no phone service for those 8 days in the Upper Peninsula.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was still on basically Sprint towers, and there's no service up there for Sprint towers. I've changed since then, of course, but
Shout out to Sprint.
yeah.
We need a sponsorship next time, Bo.
Right. But that
Sheboygan. Why is Sheboygan like Sheboygan's one of those names that we should know? I'm sure there's something tragic that happened. That's the only reason I know it. Cool name to say.
Sheboygan doesn't run nothing up from Sheboygan rings
Yeah,
off the top of my head, but Kenosha is in that same
okay.
is in it.
Kenosha.
So there's Green Bay and
Yeah.
then Milwaukee is in there. Sheboygan's just south of Milwaukee.
See, I'm gonna derail us again.
Mhm.
When you come from California
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, obviously Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, right? Like you can literally walk from there to here. You can hit 3 states right there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So in California, I could walk for 7 days and not hit another state. Going north south. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I could walk probably. Well, take my big ass a few days to get to Nebraska to Nevada, but where we're located, we're like smack in the middle. We have an
Mhm.
hour and a half to Yosemite, hour and a half to San Francisco, 1.5 to Sacramento, and because nobody likes Fresno, we're about 6 hours north of LA. So, yeah, that's right, Fresno. Shout out to you, armpit of California. I'm in a battle with Fresno right now. I'm not a real big fan of them. But no, so like I said, as the traction gets going, again, I jumped off of the page and I forgot there's that little clip that I wanted to show and get a trademark violation. but yeah. Why? So you get hooked up with Mission 22, right?
Mhm.
So they sponsor you, and they have I mean, they have some good resources. I really do enjoy talking with. Every once in a while, I get an email from Mission 22, and hey, come on, and we just can't really make a connection there. Tell me how they've helped you through this process here.
Yeah, so those first few trips working as an ambassador for Mission 22 has been great because they do awesome things for veteran men and women all around the
Yeah,
country, and there's some great leaders in each state. Oop, is that mine?
yeah,
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
it's all good.
Is there a way I can silence that?
Just turn your ringer off. I like it. Hey, what are you doing? Want to go get some pizza?
You'll say I'm on the. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
we're
have.
on the Contagion Effect show. Come on and join us.
Oh well. Anyways, we what was I saying? Sorry, brain fart.
Mission 22.
Mission 22, yes, do awesome things across the country for men and women. Even during COVID, they were helping with simple things like groceries and utility bills and stuff like that. But they help a lot of veterans connect with professional help for mental health, as well as put on different events just to kind of promote camaraderie. And that's one of the biggest things a lot of veterans miss when they get out. You know, whether you're in combat or not, you serve stateside or overseas, man, woman, enlisted or officer, the thing we miss the most from our time in service is just that camaraderie and that sense of family that we built when
Yeah.
we were in. And so, as for veterans, that's kind of one of our biggest weapons that we have still for the war at home is camaraderie and bringing each other together to talk about experiences and our challenges that we had when we came home, and get more people to talk about, what's going on
Okay.
there,
Sorry.
going
You're good.
on, okay, going on in our heads.
Yeah. I
And
mean, unless they're
so
telling you that the house is on fire, then get the hell out. But you're
no,
good.
that's
Okay.
actually, if I'm being honest, that's actually a Tinder date. But anyways,
Oh, nice. Bring her up. Bring her on.
yeah,
Come on. We'll get down to it.
yeah. But so we
That's awesome. I love it.
yeah, no, they do awesome things, and I'm grateful
Yeah.
to have them in my corner these last several adventures. And then this last year, I did a shorter walk across the state from New Buffalo by the Indiana border up to the bridge in 3 weeks.
Okay.
And the goal for that trip was to highlight our local organizations and
Yeah.
kind of just localize the trip and highlight an organization each day or an advocate
Oh,
each
that's
day.
awesome.
So that we have
That's
so many
awesome.
there's so many great advocates, in every
Yeah.
state looking to make a difference. And I just wanted to kind of put a spotlight on them too.
Well, again, I appreciate you coming on, and we're not done yet. But I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. I want to get this MSN service violation real quick. I want to show everyone. Hell, what the hell? Why not? Right? I mean, if we're gonna go big, let's go big, right?
Let's go swing for the fences.
So I would like to thank MSNBC for allowing me to play this clip. Thank you. It is low.
A look at one veteran's inspiring mission to raise awareness around mental health, one step at a time.
I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. In April of 2019, my Marine brothers and I lost a comrade that we served in Afghanistan with to suicide. After that point, I felt it in my heart to bring veterans suicide to the forefront. And I did so by embarking on a walk 810 miles around Lake Michigan in support of the Mission 22 organization. Mission 22 is an organization that works nationwide to help veterans and their families find the help and resources that they need to overcome various mental health challenges. With COVID-19, we're seeing a lot of folks losing their jobs, a lot of folks facing some hardship, and that includes veterans as well. And so I felt that now is an even greater time than any to reach out to those veterans and make sure that they're taken care of, whether it be financially or making sure that their mental health is staying strong through the season that we're in. In August, I will be embarking on another mission, a 300-mile walk. I'm going to continue to bring awareness, raise funds in whatever way I can, and serve in the best way that I know how to do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, MSNBC, for allowing us to rebroadcast that. Well, that's really loud in my ears. Yeah, no, that and that was a great way to let everyone know what's going on. If they want to support you, if they want to reach out, where do they go? Where do they go, and what can they do to help?
Yeah. Well, the link tree right there has all kinds of links for how to get connected, whether it be through Instagram or Facebook, or email even. And those are the best ways to get in contact to figure out how to
Apparently
support.
Tinder too, but I believe that alone. Just saying, hey, listen, man, you got to do what you got to do. I get it.
Well, I could have said OnlyFans, but
Well, it is what it
but
is.
yeah, those are the best ways to get connected through those links. There's videos there, email, phone, and everything.
We always like to ask a random question because we do love Jenna and we love what she has going with the veterans workbook here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can still get it for before Christmas, but you guys need to go check that out on Amazon.
Shout out to Jen.
Yeah, Jen Carlton is awesome. She does a great job. I lost my sheet here. I had sheet. There's another lady up. Another lady, and that sounds so weird. There's another young lady up in Washington that I'm gonna hook. I'm gonna send you her information. Your story doesn't end here.com. Amazing, Rachel Oswald. She does a great job, and again, for some reason, we've been in this woman kick, which that sounded like an asshole. I shouldn't have said that. We've had a lot of veteran women on, and it's a whole different story. It's a whole different vibe, right? Because here we are, men, and this and that, and it's like, man, from that perspective, I'm like, it's tough. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough across the board, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's tough because the exit is not as thought out as the entrance is, right?
That's for sure.
But we're going to thumb through here. We're going to stop here. So basically, theme 34, this is beware of destination addiction. Destination addiction is a cycle of searching for happiness and a desired goal. The goal can be a new house, new job, new partner, or anything. I never could do that. Read and then look at the camera and come back to it.
Sure.
We bank on these goals to make our dreams come true and often neglect everything else until that goal is achieved. So basically what we're saying is, hey, listen, I'll focus on this one thing. I'm only focused on this. Everything else can go to hell because I'm only focused on this, right? The egotistical person or the simple mind, the straight and narrow. Everyone's like, oh, that's great. He's got great focus. Yeah, but everything else is burning around. The house is burning around, but he's out doing a podcast, on Thursday nights. But the house around him is burning around. I've pulled back from that a bit, so I'm learning to stay focused here, do a little bit here. So that's how my turnaround is. One question for yourself: deciding that all the joys is the next destination in life. Take away from the joy is the present moment. You may look back on today and view it as a simpler time. What is something you worked for that you thought would bring happiness? What do you think? What did you work for that you thought, oh, when I get that Jeep, when I get that job, when I get that'll make me happy.
I've got one for you.
Got you. Go for it.
Okay. Super personal. Something that I'm very self-conscious about is my body, myself.
Yes.
My weight. And so I'm not going to blame the military because I feel like I've had some insecurities before that even. The idea of going to boot camp and getting my ass kicked and getting into shape was like a big plus for me. And I got that. I achieved that. I achieved it through Afghanistan and through deployment and after deployment. But even after that, I still was not satisfied with the way I looked or I felt. I was still very hard on myself and very, a lot of the psychological nuggets were still there, I guess. And so as we continue to work on ourselves, it's a reminder that we have to give ourselves grace through every step of the process of improving ourselves. It's great to want to improve yourself and to work hard and to want to achieve these things, but you have to give yourself grace with every step along the way, whether it be step one, square one, or A to Z, or whatever it may be. Give yourself the same grace on the summit or in the valleys that you give yourself on the summit.
Well said. I agree with that because I eat like shit. I'm a truck driver. I sit for it. Drive around and I wonder why my pants don't fit. It's because you're So I sit around and eat junk. But on that note, I'm going to make a pledge that 2024 for me is the year that I get healthy and he can see my rosy cheeks, so I don't have to be Santa Claus. Because sometimes when people play Santa Claus, they got to stuff their shirt with pillows. I don't, but which I mean, I did one year. It was kind of fun. Again, we're lighthearted here, man. We make fun of ourselves, and that's again when growing up. When you were picked on as well, not you, but when I was picked on as a kid, you become your own best friend. You learn how to play by yourself, and you make things funny because that's the protection, right? I am not insecure. I don't need, oh my gosh, I don't need all that, right? I have a friend that loves me. I go to work. I have friends. I've adapted and overcame that part, So there is one. Shoot, I did it. You're a hell of a photographer.
Oh, thank you.
Like you're a hell of a photographer because I'm looking at some of the stuff and I get lost in it, and I'm like, oh, you have the Canon 8-1.
I've got two of those babies. Yeah, that the black one that you see on my Instagram more than any of the other one is my. That one just broke actually. I love film photography. I fell in love with it few years back through a class I was doing, and then I started getting into digital this year. And so like the other trade that I really want to learn is photography, so I can, do it on the side for content creation, landscape, street, weddings, whatever.
I wish I could reach through my closet right here. So this is the studio, the youngest daughter's spare room. I have a fold collapsible. I was going to, my Instagram is not nearly as cool as some of your shots and stuff. I do. I'm on Instagram. I'm Snapseed Trucker. So Snapseed is actually a Google app, and I edit some pictures and stuff like that. And so I said, hey, I'm gonna get these vintage cameras and the Canon AE1. I mean, my mom had that camera, and I dropped it in the snow when we went to Dodge Ridge. She won't let me forget that. And broke it, and then I told her I didn't break it, and yeah, it's a whole thing. But no, dude, it's great. So is that another, I don't want to say hobby, but is that a hobby that you use to kind of decompress or are you more mainstream on like you're going to use it for the content for
it's a little bit of both. I mean, my creative outlet since I was a kid, I taught myself piano when I was 8, and music has always been a huge part of my life. I write music, I play music, I perform, I collect records, all that good stuff. But then like photography became another creative outlet for me, indeed the last few years. It's my escape, like when I want to, kind of forget about everything else for a minute. So if I'm hiking or walking, I've got to have a camera with me and capture little things. And to be able to, make some money on the side too with it is a huge bonus. So yeah.
you call it the what your professional walker. This gentleman right here, Scott Friedenberg, he is the recipient of, oh man, if I could get like 2 seconds, man. He is the recipient of the, damn, this is so offbeat. He's the recipient of the Nebraska Cornhusker bike that was awarded from the Wheels for Warriors Foundation, given to a veteran that shows just the commitment, the service, the give back. An amazing bike. And Scott, man, I hope you, let me see. Yeah, no, George. Oh, so George, this is the interview's done. Okay, the interview's done. Now we're just going to connect you with a bunch of people because one of my favorite human beings of all time just jumped on. Jordan, what is that? Jordan Olam. And I'm leaving Scott up there because I got to get his bike up there. No, not the one that died. Let me see, Scott. I apologize, Scott. Dang it. Okay, we're gonna have to do it a different way. I apologize. Ruck it up for Warriors. My point is this: there's like 4 different conversations going on in my head. Ruck it up for Warriors right here. So you call it a walk. These guys call it a ruck, right?
Yeah.
You have a backpack on. You're rucking, dude. You're rucking. So these fools, and I only call them fools because they're cool ass cats. they ruck miles and miles and miles, and Scotty gets on, and actually Scotty, our interview, he was number 57 on our show. It was his first time he ever had been on a podcast, and it was great. It was amazing. And bro, you know, Scotty, you don't have your page. You don't have your bike up on the page. Dang it. Oh, I'm lying. Yes, you do. I apologize. So we're going to connect you guys because they do a great thing. They have just some cool stuff. This does nothing. You can't see the detail of this bike. So I apologize, but Wheels for Warriors gives away a bike at Hero Stock, and there's going to be some great things. I would love for you to join this group of people that we have. And it's amazing. It was great because he cried and didn't see it coming, man. Husker Legacy bike. Yes, the Husker Legacy bike.
Wow.
It was great because he didn't know. He didn't have a clue. His wife kept it from him for like a year. They're working on this.
Wow.
And it's great. He got to go into when they gave it to him, they took it to practice, right? Like he got to do the send off and all this stuff. Just a great human. Like there's one, I'm thinking this whole time, you know, they're giving away bikes and I'm like, this guy needs to do it. So my point is this: they ruck, you ruck, you walk. We're going to get you guys in contact because
that's great.
Being connected with other veterans and other organizations that bring awareness. It's what we're about, right? And then getting back to, I don't know if I said hi to Joel, but hey, Joel from Phoenix, how you doing, bud? Thanks for joining. Jordan does some, I'm going to screw it up, Jordan, so just correct me. She does arts and crafts, and that's not what it is. I'm just being, it's art design. So she does designs on record albums and stuff like that. And they also have guitars for vets. So I noticed she had a guitar there. Okay. I'm almost showing the spot because I can't see behind you, but her mom runs the packaging and layout design for records. I got it in there. I just put them in different orders, right? Packaging and layout. And so when I went to Nebraska, they met me down at Nebraska Brewing. Shout out to Nebraska Brewing, except for the guy that kicked me out at like 9:15. Whatever. We literally had a show. We had a show, and it was a guy from Wisconsin, and I've been chasing him for like a year. And he's like, "Hey man," I'm like, "Okay, cool." So again, they're Nebraska. They're Nebraska born and bred, and great organizations in the Midwest, you know. And so we're going to connect you with them. There, yeah, right there. I got you, buddy. Ruck It Up for Warriors. Awesome. I got your page. Yeah, it's cool. And again, like I said, man, the more we connect and the more we can make this world, this nation smaller. We're worldwide, but the smaller we can make it, the better we're going to be, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah. We don't touch on PTSD very much. You talked about some anxiety and stuff like that. What's something that you? Oh, it's a softball question. First of all, what's one of the things that you do that you're like, hey, listen, man, I know I'm kind of feeling this way, but let me go here or let me go do there. Is it taking the camera out? Is it taking the dog for the walk? Is it just getting out and walking, 400 miles or just basically all of the above?
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but so before I left for that first walk in August of 2019, the 3 or 4 months leading up to that, when things weren't quite going as planned, I found myself going on a lot of walks. I'd go walk for like 3 or 4 hours, come back, eat, hang out, and then I had things I could have done, whether it been work or read, write, music, anything. But I chose to go back out and walk again, just because I didn't realize it at the time. But like being outside and just walking was bringing me a lot of serenity and tranquility as well too. And so, yeah. And now if I am feeling any kind of stress or I need to get out, it's getting out of the house for sure. Meeting with people, just talking to strangers, striking up conversation at a store or at the bar or restaurant, at the park even, or here in Northern Michigan, we have so many trails that you can go, by yourself and just throw on some music or just listen to things around you and just kind of get out of your nest. I always say that when you're depressed and when you're going through it, it's easy for a person to kind of just build a nest out of within their surroundings. And when you build that nest and it's comfortable, you kind of just keep sulking and sulking and sulking deeper and lower, and it becomes harder to pull yourself out of that muck and myrrh. And getting outside and just going for a walk, as simple as it is, can go a long way.
Isn't that crazy that we can use that we can just do that, like getting into nature, getting connected? But yet it's so hard for people to open up like that, you know. Like so hard for people to seek that. They say, you know, you have to connect with people to help yourself get out. There we go. Sky said it better than I did. Nothing to do but clear your head when you're out there. A lot of time to self-reflect. And then that's what my point was, without jibber jabbering, is it's nice to get out and walk, and it's nice to connect with people. So it's kind of like that balance of, hey man, you're cool and I like chatting with you, but I'm kind of done. Like, let me go do my thing. And just for the record, we did find you. How far are you from the great city of Ann Arbor?
Oh, about 3.5 hours from Ann Arbor.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
I'm sure we could find something closer, but yeah.
Ann Arbor's right about here, and I'm right about here.
Oh, yeah. So you're over on the other side. I'm sure someone will comment, or someone will shoot you a message or something. I will post a link.
Yeah.
We will get you in touch with Guitars for Vets. There's a division right here. guitarsforvets.org. Go check that out, peoples. It's what we do. We have to connect. We have to help people. Helping veterans cope with PTSD through music. That is 100% what their motto, their mission statement. Wonderful people, had a good time. So yeah, dude, I don't want to drag it out anymore, because I feel that Kenosha how far is Kenosha?
That's on the trail. That was mentioning, that was just south of Sheboygan.
Jordan rocks. Jordan rocks. GVA, Golden. Yeah. GV. My eyes, I can't see.
For Vets
headquarters in Kenosha.
Yeah. Yep.
We're gonna get you connected. We're gonna get you. They're always looking for people to help. They're always looking. Yeah, rock on, girl. They're always looking for people to help. They're always willing for people to sign up. You can help. We're going to get connected. We're going to have some fun with it. I can't wait. Travis, thank you, dude. Like, we didn't even get to half the things that I wanted to get to. We're going to have to probably do a part 2.
I will love to do that.
Yeah. The only thing that I ask is to go out and do something for someone that they can't repay you. So go do something nice for someone. You're a hell of a dude. I appreciate the time. You're going to get the last word. So tell me something good before we leave.
My broken Jeep still runs. Just kidding.
No. Listen. The positive lining, right? I mean, we could say, "Oh, you came on like you're like." I mean, your dog got. I mean, your Jeep got hit. Your baby got hurt. So I appreciate that. I'll take that. Hey, Travis, thanks, man. I appreciate you for joining us.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
In the back room for a minute, and we got some things that we got to wrap up here, but appreciate it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, 2022 Michigan Veteran of the Year, Travis Snyder, and he's walked about 2,600 miles in 5 different trips. So you do the math. That's a lot of freaking gallons per mile. So thanks, Travis. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, everybody.
Holy shit, 2,600 miles. Derek, what's up? Love you, Trev. Thank you, Derek Thompson, for joining. Appreciate you guys. Jordan, yeah, we'll be posting links. We got a lot of homework that I need to do. Travis is just a legit guy, right? Down to earth, you know. Signed the dotted line, went and did what he needed to do, and came back and is totally bringing awareness of, you know, veteran suicide. Sergeant Jeffrey Hughes, man, rest in peace. Thank you for your service. Sad that, you know, that was the way that it ended. Remember, go do something nice for someone, man. Do something nice, and hell, go buy a shirt. Go give someone a shirt. Hey guys, appreciate you all for showing up. Love you all. But I gotta say it because I'm slacking right here. Y'all, Deuces.